Good evening. Would you please stand with me for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Councilman Rogers, please.
Let us pray. Our God, our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all that you've given to us here tonight. We pray that you will be with the Mayor and Council as we go about the business of the city and the budget for this upcoming year. We pray that you'll be with us and guide us through this process. We continue to pray for those serving in the armed forces abroad, serving in harm's way. Be with them, guard them, protect them. We ask tonight a special blessing to be with our scientists and our health department to try to get us through this time with the coronavirus. And these things we pray in Christ's name, and amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This evening we have a makeup on our agenda. Patrice Pooler from the Mid-Ohio Valley Fellowship Home is here with us this evening. When we did the agency presentations, they were not available to be here, so we've rescheduled her for tonight. So Patrice, if you'll start us off this evening.
Bring my sidekick here.
You have to introduce her.
Yes. I want to thank everybody for accommodating our schedule. And this is Lindsay, and she's actually she's at the Fellowship Home, and I thought she could give a personal testimony of what the Fellowship Home does and what it's been like to be there. So I'll let her start.
Hello, thank you for your time tonight, everybody. Hello, my name is Lindsay, and I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. I'm also a mother, daughter, sister, granddaughter, and friend. Last but not least, I'm a resident of the Mid-Ohio Valley Fellowship Home. I arrived to the Fellowship Home from detox, still sick from withdrawals and infections all over my body. I was jobless, homeless, and hopeless. Through the support, services, and structure of the Fellowship Home, I have a job, a home, a support system, and most importantly, a life. The Fellowship Home entered me into some valuable programs, such as intensive outpatient therapy, relapse prevention, and individual therapy. They helped me get my hearing aids again and to lose my fear of doctors because of prior experiences to get my health back on track. I'm an active member of the recovery community that is my lifeline to staying sober. They taught me the importance of waking up early, eating right, and exercise because a comprehensive life change is what is needed to stay sober and live a productive life. The accountability found within the rules of the Fellowship Home taught me how to actively participate in my life again and gain the rewards of the hard work I've put into the last 6 months. To highlight some accomplishments, I'm employed, I volunteer, I'm active in the recovery community and my church. I have contact with the people who mean the most to me, and I see my children regularly now. I pay my rent, I have a new car, and I've got a home to move to when I graduate tomorrow. When I graduate on the 20th. Tomorrow, I graduate the Recovery Coach Academy. At 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm 6 months sober from all chemical, mood, and mind-altering substances. On the 20th, when I graduate the Mid-Ohio Valley Fellowship Home, I may be leaving there, but the tools they've given me to succeed won't leave me. I've also been given a chance to put a face on this disease that is killing our community with opportunities like this. I also was given the chance to participate in the stigma video, which Patrice has with her on a USB drive. If anybody would like to see it, we can also email it to you. I want you all to know that addiction isn't just a word. We are people, and with the help of places like the Mid-Ohio Valley Fellowship Home, we are people with lives, a future, and hope.
So I thought maybe you would like to see some of the folks, and Lizzie represents hundreds that come through our doors that are so broken and then get a second chance. And that's what we've been doing. The end of this month, I'll have 17 years as the director. And the reason why I haven't left is because there's so many miracles that happen. It's folks that Lindsay make it worthwhile to go through the doors and start another day. So we are a residential recovery program, and we have 5 homes. and we have structure, and we have curfews, and like Lindsay said, we have a program that helps them to loosen the grips of addiction in their lives. We are very grateful for the monies that you guys have given us, which was put towards our programming. We used it for folks that needed uniform or clothes for work. We also used it for drug testing and also toiletries, and lots of times people come in and they just don't have anything. And also, once somebody gets sober, just like very similar to when you go to college, you put on, the freshman 15 pounds. Well, in sobriety, you put on the 20 pounds. And so lots of times it's just clothing that's needed too. So just things that we all take for granted, that as a nonprofit director, sometimes it's hard to find the money for that. If you multiply just some of that stuff by the 36 people plus about 12 kids at a time that we're serving, even socks are expensive. So you guys really have helped us. And like Lindsay was saying, we do have a video. It's on our Facebook page, which is very active and interactive, and also on our website. But if anybody's interested, we could also email it to you. So again, thank you. Thank you for letting me come in today. The last time we were able to present, we had just gotten an emergency four kids from the age of 5 down, and life just got crazy. And it was just like, nope, can't do that today. So thank you, Amy, for helping to reschedule us, and thank you all for accommodating us, and thank you for all that you've done for us. So please know that miracles happen on George Street. We are an open book. If you want to just show up, just show up. If you tell us, the toys will be put away, but if not, you'll just have to step over toys. But we really are an open book, an open door, and miracles happen there, and you're part of that, and thank you for that. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
So this evening, we have 3 people that have signed up to speak before council. Kim Williams, you are first.
Good evening. My name's Kim Williams. I live at 801 49th Street. I wanted to talk quickly about the Community Development Block Grant. I have a reason for wanting to talk about it tonight. But I think the city does a wonderful job with this program. So it's for small, minor home repairs, window door replacements. And over the years, you guys have grown that program because it used to just be windows, and you've grown it into the home repair, which would include roofs and leaky roofs and gutters and downspouts and even HVAC. And over the last several years, more people have taken advantage of those federal dollars that are there for low income and moderate income people to tap into to help them with their homes. And I'm bringing it up tonight because on the, I know on the budget, one of the things that was removed from the budget was the $60,000 to purchase property on 29th Street for the senior center for parking, and that's definitely a need. I mean, everybody, I live close to the city building, and I walk my dogs past the senior center all the time, and parking is a definite issue there. But in order to get that new parking lot, we have to purchase that house, which is overvalued at $60,000. That they're going to take the money from the Community Development Block Grant, and I have some concerns with that. Because that money, like I said, is earmarked for low-income people, moderate-income people, some of which, of course, are going to be seniors. And I have a question because in 2018, we purchased the property right across the street here at 612 29th Street for $80,000. And I guess I don't understand why we just can't use that piece of property to have a parking lot. It's not that much further, 100 feet from where we're talking about building this new parking lot. So there's the cost of the house, $60,000. There's the cost of taking the house down, and there's the cost of paving the lot. And so probably you're looking at $100,000. And so you're going to be pulling that money from the CDBG fund, which I think does really good things for people in our community. It helps them sustain their homes, which then provides good housing stock here in Vienna, which is important to all of us. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm very concerned about that, although we do need, definitely need to do something about the parking at the senior center. My other question was something else that was removed from the budget, which was on line item 570, streets. it says 8th Avenue repair project. Is that the house on 8th Avenue that has all the flooding?
Yes.
Okay, so I live on 8th Avenue. I live on the corner of 8th Avenue and 49th Street, so this is my neighbor. And they came, him and his wife came here last year, and they presented, and they showed videos about how bad the flooding is in their home and so on. And they've got a real issue, and it's has happened for like 20 years now. And so that at that time last year, Mayor, you said that it would be brought before council. We're going to have to make some decision about it. And it may even include buying the house, tearing the house down, and I guess having a stormwater retention or retainment situation. And I'm just curious about that, if that's what was planning on happening, because now that's taken out of from council and then going to go over to the stormwater budget, which is under the authority of the Vienna Utility Board. So it's kind of concerning that gets taken away from elected council people to make that decision about raising houses or whatever we're going to do there, and then taken over to just a non-elected board. So I'm hoping something positive is going to happen to that, but I am concerned it is in my neighborhood, so I would like to see my neighbors get some resolution. So those are my things I want to talk about tonight. Thank you.
Jack Heater.
Good evening. My name is Jack Heater. I live at 4301 Sandalwood Place. 2 weeks ago when I was here, I was informed I had 3 minutes. Well, I'm back again because I wasn't finished last week, so I'm going to continue with my presentation from last week. May not finish, so I might be back the next week. 2 weeks ago, like I said, I was here and I brought some things to council about the budget. The reason I'm back tonight, again, is concerning the budget. First being the subject of employee compensation and benefits. Having had the privilege of working in public jobs, both as a public employee and a department head in a public agency, I am very aware of the budget process for public agencies. When I applied to work for that public agency, I knew the compensation and I knew the benefits. I also knew the comparable ones in the private sector. But based upon the benefits of the public agency, although it paid a little bit less, I opted to go with the public agency. The private sector really has a mechanism in place when it wants to reward its employees or gives pay raises. They can raise the price of their goods or services. However, as a public agency, you have very few choices. Number one, you can either reduce manpower and raise everybody else's salary. Number two, you can reduce the mechanism for the benefit package for what the people are there. Or number three, you can simply raise rates and taxes. In my opinion, the first two are a wash. That'll never, ever happen. So that leaves one other option to do. That's to raise taxes and fees upon the people that live in the city of Vienna. As a customer, for the people that raise their employee salaries, maybe price their product too high, I had the privilege of not patronizing those establishments. However, as a taxpayer in the city of Vienna, I don't have that privilege. I must pay the taxes. I must pay the fees that show up on my water bill every month. I use 2,000 gallons of water and pay $46 a month on my water bill. Kind of ridiculous, but I pay it anyway. You look at the fees and everything else on it. So therefore, I think we need to reevaluate the mechanism for paying benefits and or salaries to our city employees. Secondly, when department heads are developing their budgets, and I'm keenly aware of this, I've done bunches of them, they have 2 of them in the hopper at a time. Number one, you have everything in the world you want listed. Not that you need, but the things you'd want. The tools, the toys, whatever you want. The second one, they have one on the back shelf that's a must-need item. So you have to have these to function. So I do believe the budget process to be transparent, the funding agency, in this case, is this group here, must ask prudent questions of the departments. Must ask them if this is a wish list or a needs list. Must hold the department heads and be responsible for those budgets. If you do not ask those prudent questions, you're doing us taxpayers a disservice. We are paying the bill. You only write the check. We pay the bill. So therefore, This council must openly present, discuss, ask the public for their input. Until the public has such funding source as and comments in the budget, it cannot be an open and active role, and this process will never be transparent until you present line item budgets to the public and let the public have input on that budget. Thank you.
Brenda Powell.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Powell, and I live at 1409 31st Street here in Vienna. I wanted to just talk for just a few minutes in regards to Vienna as a whole. I've been here now, this is the third time as far as the budgets are concerned that are come before council and the public. There are so many things to look at, and mostly we need a return on our investments. I'm not really quite sure that we get that. In the budget, there's a lot of spending, a lot of things that are wanted and needed, and I understand that, but we need to look at our community as a whole. We have our business district, which runs from 23rd to 34th Street. That area has a lot of empty buildings. And I noticed that when we had the presentations from the outside agencies, the economic development from Wood County was here. And it just happened to be that I had talked about it the night before, and then Lindsay Pearsall brought it up that evening, talking about the city giving incentives. I feel that giving incentives helps businesses, and I think it is a good thing, and depending on what it is. But I think also the buildings that we have empty here within our business district, maybe possibility that those that own those buildings that have been empty for quite some time, that maybe there could be some kind of an incentive that they could offer too to businesses coming in. So with it, that we all help one another. I think that is an important thing. We just have to look at it. We are also investing in you, all of you that are sitting here. The people here in Vienna are investing in you, and we need a return from those investments also. So there's, like I said, there's so many things, and to go on and on and on, but we just need to look at what we can do to bring in revenue and to get a return on our investments. I also wanted to bring forth, I know that we're not there yet, but eventually we will be. As far as John Mansfield, the Spencer Landing, right now there isn't any restrooms available down there, only porta-johns. But I think Bruce and I talked about it one time about the thoughts of having restrooms down there, and I don't know whether or not that's a capability because of the digging and putting that in. But I had found this, I don't know whether you can see it or not. It's ADA compliant, and it's portable. And it's such a thing that it could be put on the site. If it needed to be moved, it could be because of flooding or whatever. And it would be an asset, I think, to the area down there for the individuals. The thing is, the pricing basically isn't any more than one of the vehicles that you might purchase here for the city. So it's something to think about, as far as a portable situation to where that, we have something there for the public. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
I'd like to call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council for March the 12th, 2020. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll, that all members of council, with the exception of Recorder Smith, are present this evening. Having a quorum, we will proceed. The minutes from the regular council meeting held on February the 27th, 2020 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no objections, and the minutes will stand approved as posted. Report of the treasurer. Councilman Leach.
Thank you, Mayor. Reconciliation funds dated March 12th, 2020 for the city of Vienna. I've reviewed the accounts. They appear in order, and the city is financially sound.
Thank you. On our agenda this evening, we have two items. The first item on our agenda this evening is a bid approval for the IT department on a virtualization and backup system. Mr. Leach.
Thank you, Your Honor. This was presented at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting on March 3rd of 2020, and this is a reclassification request. This is not a new allocation from the IT department. They are allocating funds from one line item to another to fund these changes. Then, as I understood when we met at Budget and Finance, we had moved this off of the agenda and to council. So the information I had was on the reclassification request.
And that is correct. Chris didn't come at the Budget and Finance meeting? I'm sorry?
That was a separate issue.
The reclassification? Yeah, that's the only information I have in front of me, Mayor.
Okay. I have it.
You have it? You want to read it?
I'll take yours. All right, with the information in front of me, sealed bids for the purchase of virtualization and backup system were opened on February 28th of 2020 with the following results. We had one bid from SHI International Corporation in the amount of $97,996.16. And after careful review of the bid proposals, the recommendation for council is the approval from Budget and Finance Committee for the purchase of this virtualization and backup system is SHI International Corporation in the amount of $97,996.16. Funding for this project will be from the general fund, pending council approval, and the amount of funding request will be for the entire project.
Chris, would you mind explaining this?
All right. So what this project is right now we have physical servers sitting in the city building server room and in the police department server room. These are hardware devices that are getting older in age. They're almost to their, I think next year is their end date, so we'd be replacing all of those servers next year anyway. This was actually bid in by the last, or it was put in and approved and all of that by the last IT administration that was here. I'm just moving forward with it. What this project is going to do is it's going to allow me to take the 7 or 8 servers that I have, take them away from physical and put them into a virtual world, which will allow me to run 8 servers on 3 boxes versus 8 servers on 8 physical boxes. That'll also allow me to have a downtime of 0, because if I have to do maintenance on any machine, I can move it from one physical host to another, take that server down, do the maintenance I need, and bring it back up. Also in this project is a backup solution, which will allow me to move all of our servers into a new backup world, which has an off-site vault, which will allow, if we end up getting hit with ransomware or any other type of hack, it'll allow me to shut everything down, wipe it clean, and bring it back up in hours versus months, which is kind of what Wood County School District is in the process of doing now. They are maybe 50% back up, and it's been 2 months.
Chris, I have a question. With respect to the virtualization of the system, you mentioned that the lifespan of your current server bank of 8 servers
Yes, sir.
is next year, and that you're going to be able to consolidate this to 3. What kind of a savings does that offset as far as this upfront cost?
Each servers run anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 per server, and replacing 8 servers is over $150,000. The value of this equipment that I'm getting is actually, if you went out and got it at market value, is about $350,000 for it. But because we got registered pricing through Dell, which is now EMC, Dell bought EMC, we got registered pricing for it because they really want the business. We got it at a 75% discount.
So does the 97,000 that you have here encompass, will
All
it
of
be
it.
3 existing servers, or
No.
will it be 3 new
Three
servers?
brand new servers. It's actually three brand new servers for the virtualization, and it's 4 server boxes for the backup. They're 2 totally separate systems. And what that does is, because the virtualization world will house my Windows servers, the backup is all done on Linux. So it's 2 totally separate worlds.
So the Linux boxes,
Yes, sir.
I don't necessarily want to know specifically where you're putting them. You mentioned those will be off-site from the city building, so that
No, they will be in the
that
city building.
everything is gonna
Yep.
be located
There's a
here.
data vault that's in the cloud that all my
Okay.
backups, once I run my backup, every 15 minutes it sends the changes to the cloud vault, which that vault is secured by dual level authentication, which means an outside, anything that comes in outside, a virus or anything like that, cannot access the data vault without having an access key.
Okay, thank you.
Amy, I'd like for you to make sure I say this correctly. The money, this is for the bid approval of the equipment itself. The money that is required to pay for this equipment was in last year's budget that was approved.
The money is actually in this year's budget.
I mean, this year's budget, but
We had given partially, half the money in this year, and then when we did the carryover, because the project wasn't started in last year, we did the other half. Adam had originally split it in 2, we moved it into this year, the money's already been approved.
yes. So all we're doing this evening is approving the bid. Okay. All right.
Chris,
Any-
let me ask you this: because I know each year on council we always have some big project with the IT. You know, we're always doing something. I know it's always changing, but for the foreseeable future, we do this. Where are we at with
10
being-
years.
So, cause like I said, last year I know we spent a bunch of money into. Like I said, I respect what you do. I don't understand all the computer stuff. I just we sink a lot of money in every year, every budget year. So this should probably take care of us for a while with our IT stuff.
This will take care, well, we are on, the way that Adam had stuff set up is we're on a rotating cycle with our equipment, our end user equipment. There was a rotating cycle with the servers as well. This is going to put our servers out for 10 years. And if by some chance somebody comes in and says, hey, we have this new product we want to bring in, we need you to put a server in there, and it's $30,000 for the server, equipment, rack, all of that stuff, I'd be like, no, just send me your virtual iOS, I'll drop it into my virtual world and it's done. It doesn't cost that amount of money in equipment. It allows me to not only secure things, it's easier management on the IT department. I mean, there is only 2 of us that do this. It's just a huge benefit overall, versus, having to go, if a server is down and I can't get to it, I have to physically come in. I live in St. Mary's, so it's a 40-minute commute for me to come all the way in, to push a button to turn it off, to push a button to turn it back on. In a virtual world, I can log into what is called a vCenter. It's the overall server that manages all of my virtuals, and I can turn them off and on in a virtual world. So it just takes the physicality out of it. This equipment will be good for 10 years, so there'll be no need to replace this. The maintenance and everything that we will get on this is good for quite a while.
Thank you, bud.
Chris, that kind of leads to what I was thinking about. This $97,000, is that a turnkey project, hardware, software, programming?
Hardware, software, programming, everything. That
Everything.
includes what this is going to include. They are going to send me, they're going to send me 2 racks, 48U racks, server racks. I don't know if you've ever seen them or not, but they stand about this tall. They'll send me the servers in boxes with the rails. I will put them in the racks, get everything connected. Then we have what is called pro support, and they will virtualize in and set everything up on the inside. I don't have to do any of that. That's all paid for with this 97,000. It covers the hardware, covers my software, it covers my licensing, it covers the setup and maintenance as well.
Thank
I can
you.
tell you're pumped about this, aren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, see,
like your-
this is small toys. I've played with multi
Not a
million
small
dollar
prize.
toys. Well, it's not for, but yeah, I mean, the ones I
I know
want are
what you
like
mean.
2 million, but
Right.
All
not getting that.
right, thank you. Bud.
Chris, with this being approved in the last budget, what was the dollar, maybe you know, what was the dollar amount that we approved in the last budget? 100,000, so we're actually, if anything, slightly under that. And make sure I understand as far as the dollars and cents and how that was being paid for, half of it, if I understand right, was part of that budget, and the other half,
One year you budgeted 60,000, and 1 year you budgeted 40.
I got you.
The project didn't get started, so we carried the 60 over and made 100.
Okay, but 100,000 was the dollar amount that we previously approved. Thank you.
And like I said, the retail value of this is over 350,000. That's the MSRP on it. But because, you know, I got in with registered pricing, which is why you only see one bid. I know you guys like to see multiple people bidding, but let me explain how it works in the IT world. When you're dealing with big projects and big vendors and manufacturers, they want, what they'll do is the very first vendor that comes to them, they get what is called registered pricing. And then the second people that come in, they get what is called MSRP pricing. So you get one person that gets a special price, the next company that comes in is going to get it at market value. They're not going to put in any effort to send you a bid once they know that they're not going to get registered pricing, so they know they're not going to win the bid. Why waste the time?
Chris, Russ, Mr. Skogstad has a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Mine was just, is there a licensing or a subscription fee, maintenance fee, or any of those that are going to be recurring costs that aren't contemplated?
Just the Microsoft fee is the only fee that's recurring, and that is, we're already paying that now on our domains because we pay per user that we put in. So once I move it to a virtual world, there should be no change to that.
So these are all Microsoft servers?
The Windows
virtual
servers, yes.
And so we pay one time, we're not going to have to pay for upgrades or anything like that?
No, sir.
5 years down the road?
Any other questions? All right, then I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the sealed bid from SHI International Corporation for $97,996.16 for the purchase of a virtualization and backup system.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the bid from SHI International. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of accepting the bid, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The second item on our agenda this evening is our continuing budget discussion. Couple notes before we actually get into the budget. Mr. Scholl wanted to clarify something that we discussed at the last meeting or the meeting before, whichever it was, regarding the rehab of his fire truck. So Steve, if you'd like to.
The discussion has come up about the refurbing of the fire truck compared to wanting to refurb the vac truck that the city had. It's two total separate animals. We had a 20-plus-year-old truck that had, say, 20,000 miles on it, just roughly short of 20,000 miles on it. That truck didn't go out on every call every day. It wasn't rusted up or anything like that. It was just mechanical issues, updating that we did on that, safety issues. So as far as being able to rehab or refurb the vac truck compared to the ladder truck, it's like I said, it's two totally separate things. The vac truck had some rust issues, some body issues, major mechanic issues, where the fire truck didn't have those items. We just upgraded it for safety features and a little bit of body work, a couple of dings and dents on it. So I just want to get out there that, you know, I've been hearing the fire department's done this and refurbed this. There's a main reason we did that. If it would have been half the price of a new truck, which would have been roughly $750,000, we wouldn't even consider that. Because when we go to ask for a new pumper in 5 years or whatever, we won't ask for a refurb on it because that won't be a comparable item because those pumpers run on every call, where this ladder truck doesn't run on every call. So I want to explain the difference of why we did it and why it wasn't feasible for the other department to do that.
All right, thank you.
Also, in fact, when the refurb company come in and looked that truck over prior to it being refurbished, they even stated that due to the actual condition of the truck and how well it was kept and the maintenance, the regular maintenance on it, that it in fact made it a prime candidate for refurb, as opposed to some of the others that were older and not in as good a shape. So the physical, which is what the chief was alluding to, the physical condition of the truck, according to them, made it a prime candidate for refurb.
Yeah. And the guy that came down to look at it originally from the Pierce plant was actually one of the guys that was on the assembly line when that truck went through.
Was built, yeah.
And he looked at it and said, "Yeah, geez, it almost looks as good as it did when the day it was built." So I'd say it wasn't a used up piece of junk to start with.
Thank you, Steve. All right. You all should have either picked up a hard copy or found a copy of the budget in your Dropbox. This past week, we sat down and went back through the budget. And when I say we, Mrs. Roberts and I went back through the budget. There were a couple items from the capital expenditure request that, because there was a extra line on there that I misinterpreted when I went through the explanation before. And so I'm going to go down through the capital expenditure request as it is cleaned up this time. So under 410, which is council, the line item number 58 is the Manville project. It is at $100,000. Line item 436, which is the building inspection, line item number 59, there is $11,167.20. That would be the financing for 3 years for a new vehicle. Under 439, item number 59, that would be the computers on rotation. That cost would be $34,000. Those are the regular desktops and laptops that the IT department rotates out for the outdated equipment. Line item number 59 was for a website rebuild in the amount of $13,175. Under 455, which is police department, line item number 59 is $36,511.80. That is for the financing of 2 police cruisers for 3 years. Under line item, under budget item 500, line item number 57, it is $28,000. That is to replace the fire alarm system. Line item number 59 is for $12,217, and that is for a replacement vehicle financed for 3 years to replace the 1998 utility pickup. And I would like to compliment the fire department. That line item was originally $45,000, and they've contributed to the cost of that vehicle. And so that reduced the financing down to $12,217. Line item number 59 is for the SCBA equipment, and that is $9,000. 540 is the Parks Department. Line item number 57 is $40,000. That is for the replacement of a restroom. Line item 57 is for $15,000, and that is to replace the last shelter, which is the Wesley shelter. Line item 58 is $35,000. That is for a playground piece for the park. Line item 58 is for $20,000. That is the final part of the Neil Cook Cemetery fencing, the $20,000. We have $5,000 as a donation to go against that cost, but that will be the last part of that project that we've been working on now for, I believe, 4 years, Steve? 541 is number 58, line item 58. That is for $40,000. That is to resurface and repair the tennis courts and the basketball courts. 570 is streets. That line item number 58 is $581,688. Line item number 59 is for a 3/4 ton pickup to be financed for 3 years in the amount of $13,959. Line item number 59 is for $63,424. That is for the purchase of the vac truck to be financed for 7 years. If you'll notice on your documentation that you have, that came down from $500,000 to $400,000. Mr. Metz reached out and is quoting this thing in anticipation of receiving a demo unit. It's one of the ones that they've brought around and used to show the features on the truck. 581, line item 59, is for a conflict monitor and controller in the amount of $6,000. The budget that you have in front of you is now balanced. The additional funds that were removed from these line items were all added back into the street paving line. And so as it is presented to you for your consideration, it is a balanced budget. With that, I would like to open the floor for discussion for whatever your thoughts are.
How many, so I'm looking at, do we still have the 9 cars in here, including the truck and stuff? Do we still have 9 vehicles financed for 3 years?
It's 5.
5 now?
That was the issue that I had, Mike,
Okay.
when I went through that the last time. I did not understand one of the lines that was filled in, and that was my fault.
Okay.
I thought that the extra vehicles that were in there had been taken out, but were financed, and they weren't. Those vehicles were removed.
Okay, good. So now at 5 vehicles, okay.
All right?
At the last meeting, I asked a question that I don't think I got an answer on. How many vehicles do we currently have financed that was purchased through previous budgets? And I don't need that answer right now, Amy. If you can let us know, that would be fantastic.
The last item that I would like to bring to your attention is the insurance. Mr. Schwendeman was intending to come this evening to discuss the different terms and policies. He has completed his looking into all the other policies and all the other companies. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it this evening. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Mark come on the 19th. We will have a insurance meeting at 6 o'clock, and then we will have our regular meeting at 7. But that will allow you the opportunity to ask him any questions that you want and compare the plans as he's presented them to us.
Do we have a number from him, or is that something we'll get at that time?
We do not have a definite number yet.
Okay. What about ad valorem? Have we got that number yet?
We have. Amy, if you have that exact number, if not, I can give it approximately.
Well, you'll see it in your budget. It came in at $1,711,653.
Okay.
And then part of that, we also do a calculation because part of it goes to the library. So their funding, when our property taxes went up, their funding went up.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If you have any more questions, if there's anything that you see in this that you need an explanation for, please make sure you let Amy or myself know, and we will get you those answers. Mr. Schwendeman will be here at 6 o'clock on the 19th to take us through all of the insurance, and then we will have our special meeting after that. All right?
I have a real quick question. Maybe
sir.
Steve can help me with this. On budget 541, line item 58, to resurface and repair the tennis and basketball courts. Steve, when was the last time those were done?
This is year 6 that we're going into. They usually get 4 or 5 years.
Okay, that was my next question, what the life expectancy of a resurface is, so thank you.
All right?
With the monies that was put back into the streets department, how much streets do we anticipate now being able to redo with those monies?
This year, we're gonna be hitting concrete streets pretty heavy. So, last year we did 1.9 miles of paving, again. But there's some streets out there in concrete work that needs done, like for 20th Street. And, we bid that out, so it's kind of hard to judge what the price that'll be.
All right. At this time, then, what I'd like to do is I would like to ask for an executive session. I would like to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Let the record reflect we went into executive session at 7:47.
Did what? Did he take what? Which one? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how long they're gonna be in there. I was gonna look at it while they were in there. Yeah, that would save me from having to look at it. Okay, just make sure he gets that. I won't run off with it. Okay, I'll bring it back. He's kind of funny about that. I'm good. How are you? How's school going? Are you gonna get off school later? I bet you do.
My granny called before the sleep before the meeting started.
Now, you go to PHS? When are they closing? Do you have a spring break scheduled? I think you do. I think there is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've been reading a little bit about it, and I saw where they were going to give you each Monday off for 6 weeks, but then I saw some discussion where they said no, they're not going to do that, so I don't know what they decided.
I'm not trying to say something.
Well, the Brilliant Blue, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Their contacts. It's called Brilliant Blue, thank you. Your contacts or your eyes?
My eyes.
Yeah, my eyes, sometimes they look blue and sometimes they look green. Did you get outside any today? Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you guys do outside?
Just out.
Did you run any laps or anything?
No.
No? Just hung out?
Yeah, just hung out, walked around.
That was beautiful. It was so nice. So nice.
Yeah, nice. I was at the Capitol on Saturday.
You heard what you did?
March 7th.
What'd you do?
Yeah, that was, I bet that was fun. What'd you do? Did you just hang out? Yeah, who'd you go with? Just the two of you?
Got down there about
Why so late? So you just kind of.
and we helped out till at least we hang out over in the Senate.
Oh, did you?
No, we hang out.
That's where you were. So do you like politics? Good. You think you'll run for something? Yeah, and you'll get to see him. Now, are you a sophomore?
I'm a freshman.
So what are your life goals? Haven't decided yet?
I'm gonna get a job somewhere.
Yeah. What do you like to do? Do you tinker with cars, or do you like computers, or do you like agriculture? Do you really? Hey, that's a good job. That's a good job. That's a good one.
That's what I went out to do.
So do you mow yards?
I don't. I just go my yard.
Oh, okay, but you like to do that?
Yeah, I do.
That's good. That's a good part-time job. Hi.
Tuesday at 8:15. Can you put? He told me to call you and see if he had anything this coming Tuesday
Morning,
Yeah,
Tuesday morning.
at 8:15. Just text me if he does, and we'll reschedule.
I don't think he does. I don't have a schedule right in front of me.
Okay.
And you'll come up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because his office, I come in the main.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and
Okay.
they'll put you through and you go upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. How long you need?
I go to work at 9.
Okay.
So, not too long.
Okay, that
I
sounds
think he
good.
just wants to talk about.
What's your number in case I need to?
304-481-4789.
Okay. If that's not good, I'll let you know.
Okay, and we can, anyway, I have all mornings open. I don't
Okay.
usually have anything.
All right.
So,
How's the kids? Everybody's good.
doing good. So, Tyler just got on at the Sheriff's Department in Columbus.
Oh my gosh. As deputy or?
He's a sworn-in deputy.
Oh my gosh.
He can go to the OPADA, which is their equivalent of our, what do you call it?
State Police
Yeah,
Academy.
the academy, within 2 years. But he's a sworn-in deputy now, and he's at the, what is Sheriff County? He's at the county, he's doing security for the county offices. So he might be in the courtroom.
In Columbus.
We were really hoping that he was gonna get the one in Logan County.
Ohio?
Popping Hills
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
And, because he had put in at the same time.
Yeah.
We were really hoping he'd get that.
Well, it's not, I mean, this would be a good experience.
And, you know, go out on patrol versus security.
Thank you, dear.
he excited? This is what he's wanted to do since he graduated college, and he just couldn't get it, and it's so hard, you know, because the numbers.
Very competitive.
Oh, I mean, he got to the last two stages.
Kelly's gonna call you.
You've been a good buddy for 3 years. So I got that a little bit.
Let the record reflect that we came back into regular session at 7:57, that no decisions were made. It was information only. With that, we're down to council comments. Any comments this evening?
And that, when Swindman comes next Thursday at 6, is the public allowed to come to that, or is
Sure.
it? Okay, so it's next Thursday at 6. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes, sir, Bruce.
First of all, I'd like to say, number one, I live in a city, and the city does send me a water bill, and I have to pay that water bill. They also send me a bill to pay taxes, and I pay taxes also. I think a lot of people think that council mayor don't have to pay taxes to the city or have to pay water bill. Second, I really want to say that I take offense to people who come here and try to tell us that we pay our employees too much and that their insurance is too good and they should pay more deductible and they should pay more on their insurance. The only reason why I say that is when I taught school, the first part of every year we gave out all types of forms. And on those forms, when they came back, I was really surprised at the number of employees that this city had that children of theirs were on free or reduced lunch because of their earnings that they earned. The federal government has said that they were either below normal or below standard as far as their earnings are concerned. Second, Stephanie Brofman is our human resource director, and I would really hate to say that over a period of time that whether it's public works, streets, or parks or whatever, that we have been a training system for a lot of people. The police department also lost an employee to, I believe, DuPont. So we train the people, we give them an experience, and they leave. And why do they leave? Because someone else is giving them better benefits. Now, I don't want to say that, yes, they need higher pay or whatever, but I want to say that we need to pay them in such a way that other people cannot take them from the city and we lose personnel that are very important to running this system and giving the benefits to our citizens. Thank you.
I have one comment before we go this evening. This afternoon, I went to a meeting with all of the other responders from our area concerning the coronavirus. I have never seen such a large gathering of specialized people in all the time that I've been with the city. Everyone that has any job in safety or protection was there at this meeting today to discuss this coronavirus and how we're all going to deal with it. I just want to let everyone know that the city is actively preparing for whatever may come, that the Mid-Ohio Valley is actively preparing for whatever may come, and that all the agencies that are in our area have given a commitment to work together to do whatever it takes to keep all of us safe. It's kind of up to the governor of where we go from here, and then we'll see what the results are. Hopefully we won't be in any critical situations, but I do believe it will come, and so we will be prepared. This afternoon, someone laid this prayer for a pandemic on my desk, and I'd like to share this with you before we close this evening. It's quite interesting. It simply says, "May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May we who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May we who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel our trips remember those that have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle in for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose love. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other, let us yet find ways to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbors." And I pray that each and every one of us remembers this, and that we do all we can to help every one of our neighbors and look out for the older people that are in our communities that have no one, and that together, as all other things, we will survive this, and we will continue to be the great city that Vienna is. So I appreciate that, and we will keep you posted on whatever developments come through my office. With that, meeting adjourned.